hey, and how you doing? This is Naru of the 6G frequency. Channeled message. Firstborn fruits, God's anointed ones. Magic, sorcery, witchcraft, you name it. Devil energy at its finest. Isolation tactics. Everything imaginable has been thrown on the paths of the firstborn fruits of God's anointing. Illusions designed to keep them both, divine masculine and divine feminine, on separate paths. Divine feminine walking in the dark, alone, so it seems. Divine masculine fighting, trying to find his way back to this divine connection amidst all the illusions that he's been up against. Tricked and manipulated like a puppet by the monsters he kept in close company, into being a roadblock, standing in the way of his divine feminine's forward focus to her true purpose, her divine inheritance. Knowing she was his true wish fulfillment, knowing of her abundant nature and of the infinite and divine wisdom that she was tapped into, he sat on his throne of abundance. Knowing of her dedication and loyalty to him and only him, and he stole from her. He stole her divine inheritance. Knowing the truth of her purity of heart, he has had to endure the conflict within himself of what he has done to her, his divine counterpart. His allegiance to toxicity had him in connections that were emotionally and mentally conflicting, always at war, first and foremost within himself. All that he stole from her and attempted to pass off as his own was not fruitful, was not productive. He has been trying to cultivate and nurture stolen seed that was not his own. Wisdom and creative works gifted to the divine feminine from God, from Gaia. He knows it's time to rise above his inner conflicts and come towards the divine feminine and communicate to her what he has done. Confess to her the deep and intense feelings of love that he has held back from her, but not without a fight. You see, the monsters that he called family, the monsters that he called friend, the monsters that he chose to replace his divine counterpart with, these dark, demonic alliances have had him under their control and influence long before the divine feminine entered his realms, casting spells and illusions over him, entrapping his divine energy. Everything that he threw at his divine feminine, every emotional and mental game he played with her mind and heart to seduce her energy and rob her of her vitality, everything boomeranging right back to him, now a pawn in the dark and dangerous games that he once reigned over. These dark connections of his are seeking to prevent this divine union. They are pulling out all the stops to prevent this heartfelt apology. Anything imaginable is being done to stop him from presenting this divine declaration of love. God has other plans. God is about to drop his wild card. God is about to drop his poker face. A phase of separation that was perfectly orchestrated. Two separate paths necessary for the true journey before them both. As the divine feminine emerges from her isolation, as she reaches the end of her dark walk through the jungle of monsters on her own path, the divine masculine awaits her, battle-worn, ready to speak his truth to her. It's time for her to receive the true credit that she deserves, recognition for her abundant nature and wisdom that he and his monsters tried to discredit her from. He's had a moment of divine realization, and he doesn't want to fight against her anymore. He's done wearing the mask with her. He's coming in fast with his authentic truth. He has chosen the path that puts him in alignment with her. He has learned so much from her. He has done the work within himself and externally. God is now granting him access to the divine feminine so that this transformative conversation may take place. He is laser focused as he prepares to approach her bravely and boldly. Divine being that she is, sits on her throne in her powerful presence and creative prowess, loving herself enough to allow for natural flow of circumstance, while trusting in the intuitive divine guidance that has navigated her away from the emotional conflict along her path. His next move, speaking his truth to her, will grant him access to the next phase of the journey, a path where they both sit upon the thrones of divinity and wisdom, leaving the past behind as they blaze a new path. Together, a force to be reckoned with, dual balance of divine power. Her amazing acts of balance in these dark mazes of destruction have people in high places taking notice of her, especially her divine counterpart, as her words of wisdom and unconditional love for him served as a beacon of light during his long journey back to her. This union is divinely approved and anointed, access granted to the dual path of abundance.